Hey guys, Miyagi Zeta here, and today we are going to talk about the philosophy of speech. Now, when you Google this phrase or term, it will look something like this. A speech act in linguistics and the philosophy of language is an utterance that has a performative function in language and communication. What does that all mean? In simple terms, speech is a structure in which language of choice is defined by its syntax and semantics, as opposed to the philosophy of language, is more the sound or tone used to project that communication and the power that the voice is using to speak out to the masses, to another person, or simply to yourself, if you're crazy or just want some intelligent advice from yourself. Basically, by utilizing basic syntax and semantics, along with sound and tone, is what the philosophy of speech entails or what it's all about. I use this term as a way to explain the importance of projecting your ideas into words, and the importance of how you structure those ideas based on the level or degree you wish to use. It is important to know your audience and your party and to use that power of voice in an influential way depending on your crowd. In philosophy, we use this to draw a focus in what is being said as opposed to how it is being said. If your audience begins to question on the how in each of your statements or your arguments, slowly your ideas and your statement and your stance becomes weaker and weaker to the point where no longer there is relevance to your ideas. And basically it just becomes like an empty idea in the air or just something that doesn't exist. And it becomes more of a syntax problem rather than just what is being said and how you're projecting those ideas. That is why it is important to have your audience questions on the what are you trying to project or are you trying to stay in order to start building your foundation from the base and up. It is important to build that foundation because otherwise, if you are just speaking to your public and they're just bored or they're just questioning on how you're speaking, then obviously there's no point in even saying words and you might as well just make sound effects or just mutter sounds. Now, to make a powerful speech, there are many factors that is involved. Articulation, for starters, should be a necessity to clearly speak out your words and to make clear sentences that follow through your speech. Always sound each phonetic letter so that there is no confusion as to what you are trying to express or say. Following articulation, tone then becomes the next important idea, where it becomes almost like the steering wheel of your argument or focus. So basically, in other words, articulation is the engine, and then your tone or your sound is the steering wheel of your vessel or what you're trying to represent. By enunciating your words and statements accordingly, your audience will know which ideas are to be followed and which ideas are just there just to define each of those statements or postulates that you're trying to say, or each of your argumental debates. However you want to put it. I mean, that's the best way I can say it. And it's like almost like a cue card. It's almost like a cue card to signal your audience on what is important and what is the least important. It also drives their focus on different intervals so that their minds don't deviate away from the topic and they just suddenly space out or trying to figure out exactly what you are representing, and then they start questioning on more the how as opposed to what it is that you're trying to argue. Just remember, you want them to say what it is that you're representing as opposed to how it is that you're representing, because those become two different arguments and the what is more powerful than the how. So always keep that in mind. Now, these are just two factors that are just the most important to myself. However, there are other factors such as gestures, eye contact, confidence, and so forth that are just equally as important. However, those kind of skills are more you develop over time and experience. And as you start doing this more and more often, you start becoming more aware of your audience and your surroundings, and you start developing more visual cue cards and more audio cue cards, etc. So just focus on these two concepts and you should be alright. And I hope you guys learned something from this, because speech is part of our daily lives, and without it, no one knows for sure who you are, and no way of knowing how to treat you or respect you if there's no expression of yourself. Now, there are many ways to express yourself, of course. I mean, there are like the silent types, there are gestures, there are actions, yes. However, speaking to them and speaking about yourself is sometimes the most preferable way, because easier access to capture those ideas, as opposed to just gestures when they can have double meanings or triple meanings, and it can mean just about anything. It's almost like the golden rule: treat others as you would like to be treated. So therefore, if you want to be treated with respect, you speak with respect. And if you want to be treated like however you want to be treated, then you just talk however you want. So basically, it is a powerful statement, and the philosophy of speech is important to acknowledge, because without it, no one knows how to express each other or even speak to each other without any indication as to why and how and what, however so you like to express that. So therefore, this is the end of the video, and this is Miyagi Sita signing off. Adios, amigos.